You ever have one of those moments where the world just stops? I mean, really stops. And suddenly all the rules you thought mattered, all the little neighborly games, they just evaporate in the heat of something you never, ever thought would happen on your own front lawn? I remember the sound, first. Not the gunshot, not yet. Just the way my little girl screamed, "Daddy, it hurts." And I swear, my heart just cracked right down the middle. And there's Karen, stone-faced, still clutching that pistol, her ball sitting like an accusation at the edge of my driveway. The same ball that somehow became an excuse for her to lose her damn mind. 3 minutes later, there were SWAT vans, police tape, sirens, the whole circus. But let me back up a sec. Saturday was perfect, not a cloud in the sky, birds singing, the kind of morning you want to bottle and save for those gray days. Emma was 5 then, my little angel in her pink butterfly dress, begging to draw rainbows with chalk out on our drive. "Stay in our driveway, okay?" I said, and she gave me those big brown eyes and promised. You know how kids are. Her mom, Sarah, was out grabbing groceries, and I was watching Emma from the kitchen, making coffee, thinking about nothing more serious than checking emails. She drew our family in pink and blue chalk. Me, Sarah, and Emma, all holding hands. You know what I mean? That kind of pure, innocent happiness you think nobody can touch. But this is suburbia, right? There's always someone watching, always a neighbor with binoculars and a clipboard, or in our case, Karen Mitchell, the queen of the HOA. 2 houses down, gray hair yanked so tight it made her scowl look permanent, eyes like ice cubes. For 2 years, she'd made us her pet project. Violation notices for a blade of grass out of place, mailbox the wrong color, Christmas lights up too long. She fined us for stuff I didn't even know was a rule. But we paid up, we kept our heads down, we just didn't want the hassle. You get tired, you know? And then, one day, she actually yelled at Emma for playing on the lawn. 4 years old and already getting a lecture about community standards. Emma cried for hours, and when we complained, nothing happened. Because, of course, Karen ran the board. Sarah always said, "Ignore her, she's just bitter." But honestly, I saw something darker in that woman, like she was just waiting for an excuse. So that morning, I'm pouring coffee and I hear her voice outside. "You stupid little brat. What did I tell you about keeping this neighborhood clean?" And I don't know, it felt different. Meaner. I dropped my mug, glass everywhere, ran outside, and Karen is looming over Emma, snatching her box of chalks, calling her a vandal. I'm sorry," Emma sobbed, and Karen just chucked the chalk box at her, hit her in the face. My baby's screaming, and I see red. I picked Emma up, and Karen's yelling about $5,000 fines, about us not belonging here. I told her to go home or I'd call the cops, and she just stared, hand under her cardigan, like she wanted me to know she was packing. "You'll regret this," she said. And she walked away, but I could tell. This wasn't over. Sarah got home. We iced Emma's cheek, and that night she said, "We need to move." But we couldn't afford to, just bought the house, you know how it is. I should have listened to her, because that was just the beginning. 2 weeks passed. Emma wouldn't play outside. She'd wake up crying about the mean lady. We talked to lawyers, but everyone told us, HOA cases take years. And then came Tuesday. Emma wanted her pink ball from the garage. I told her to stay on our property. She nodded and bounced it gently on the driveway. I turned my back for 3 minutes, 3 lousy minutes. Then, the shot. It was loud, sharp, unnatural. I ran out, and my world flipped upside down. Emma was on the ground, blood soaking her dress, clutching her shoulder, shrieking for me. Karen stood in her own driveway, smoke still curling from her pistol. "I warned you," she screamed. "Your ball came onto my property." Neighbors came running, towels, 911, sirens wailing. Mrs. Peterson called the ambulance. Mr. Johnson pressed towels to Emma's shoulder. Karen was just standing there, cold as ice. "I was defending my property," she kept saying. She tried to point the gun at Johnson, but that's when we heard the police. SWAT pulled up. They shouted at Karen, red laser dots dancing on her chest. She started yelling about rights, about the HOA, about castle doctrine, and stand your ground. But you could see, for the first time, that she was scared. She tried to put the gun down, but not before yelling one more time about making people listen. They tackled her, cuffed her. She went kicking and screaming to the cruiser. In the ambulance, I was holding Emma's hand, begging her to stay awake. Tell me the princess story, she whispered, blood on her lips. And I did. I told her the story of a brave princess named Emma, even as the paramedics worked to save her. Sarah met us at the hospital, a mess, screaming for her baby. Hours and hours waiting. The surgeon finally came out. Emma would survive, but she was traumatized, inside and out. And while Emma slept, the media circus rolled in. HOA president shoots 5-year-old over a ball. It was everywhere. Karen's history came out, all the other complaints, the threats, the arsenal of registered guns. The neighborhood exploded. Protests, news vans, the whole board collapsed. But none of it could fix Emma. She apologized to us, to her shooter, as if it was her fault. She drew pictures of guns, of women with red everywhere. She developed PTSD at 5. Therapy, nightmares, the works. Karen's lawyers pulled every trick in the book, stand your ground, property rights, the whole song and dance. But the neighbors stood up. They'd had enough. 17 witnesses, security footage, the jury saw it all. In court, Emma testified, her voice so small. I said sorry so many times, but she shot me anyway. Even the judge broke, called Karen remorseless, sentenced her to life. Karen screamed about rights, but it was over. Or so we thought. We moved. Far away, no HOA, no Karen, new school. Emma still has scars, still hates going outside, but she's learning to ride her bike again. She's drawing rainbows, a little more careful, a little less trustful, but she's here. We sued the HOA and Karen's estate, won millions, but honestly, none of that matters as much as hearing Emma laugh again. Funny twist. Turns out Karen had bullied half the neighborhood, and once someone stood up, families started talking. Other people had stories. Maybe we're not as alone as we thought. Last week, Emma wrote us a letter. She's 8 now. She said, if someone hurts you, it's never your fault. There are more good people than bad. I was just playing with a ball. And yeah, we cried when we read that, because she's right. There are monsters out there, sure, and they love their rules, their power, but there are more of us than there are of them. We protect each other. We heal together. Look, if you're hearing this, if you're dealing with bullies or power trippers hiding behind rules, speak up. Document everything. Protect your family. Because no bylaw is worth a child's life. If you're a survivor, it's not your fault. Ever. And if you've ever lost faith in justice, let me tell you, sometimes the bad guys lose. Sometimes the world rallies. Sometimes, even after all the pain, a little girl learns to draw rainbows again. Now let me ask you, was this justice? Or just damage control? Is there ever enough punishment for this kind of loss? Where do you stand on community power, on HOAs, on castle doctrine gone mad? Tell me in the comments. What would you have done? What would you want for your child, your neighbor, yourself? Share your story, your outrage, your hope for a better world. Because honestly, that's how we start to change things. One voice, one story, one rainbow at a time.